Okay, so I'm just going to try to go straight through this presentation. I'm not going to bother cutting and editing this video. So forgive any pauses, mess up of words, coughs, anything else, any interruptions. So this lesson is combining CSS selectors. We already know how to select with CSS 3 and 4 ways. We have selecting by tag, where we just put the element. We have selecting by class, where we have the class name with the period before it. And then we have selecting by ID, where we use a hashtag, and that's totally unique. Now we also know how to group certain selectors. Moving forward, we're going to learn how to use tag and class. So you can select all elements with a specific class. All you have to do is put the element before the class in the selector. What does that look like? Like this. So you put h1.logo. This is the class, and this is the element. So this selects all h1 elements with class logo and makes it italic. So you can do more than one class, just like how we could add more than one class in our HTML. So this is one class, logo. This is another class, fun. So this selects all h1 elements with both class logo and class fun and makes them italic. So the rule does not apply to this one, simply because this one only has the class logo. It does apply to this h1 because it has both the logo class and the fun class. So moving forward, we're also going to learn about CSS combinators. Combinators combine two simple selectors to make a more specific selector. Now this is going to be pretty confusing, so I'm going to try to take this as slow as possible. I know I usually talk fast, so I will try to slow it down. So how can we select only these images? Right? We have an image up here, but we only want to select this one and this one. We can do that with CSS combinators. So we'll be using three combinators. The descendant selector, where we just put a space. The child selector, where we do the greater than or angled bracket. And the next sibling selector, which is a plus sign. So descendant, everything inside an element. Children are everything one level inside an element. Think like a family tree here. Parent, so the element directly above one element. Siblings, elements that share the same parent. Now it's kind of awkward for me to take pauses while looking at the camera, so if you want to take down notes while I'm going, just pause the video. So like I said before, you want to look at this like it's a family tree. So the first word we learned was descendants, everything inside of an element. So here is our relatively basic HTML skeleton. And on the right, it shows what are the descendants of the HTML. So as you know, everything is wrapped in our two HTML opening and closing tags. So everything inside that are the descendants of HTML. Now we have the grandchildren of HTML, which are title, h1, and h1. Our two h1s are the descendants of body. They are right inside of it. They are also the children of body. So multiple things can be descendants, but children are just one level below, right? Just like grandchildren are 2 levels below, they're still descendants, but they're not children. So these h1 elements are siblings, because they're on the same level and have the same parent. So selecting with descendants. To select all the A tags that are inside of a P tag, you simply put a space. So P space A, and then have as many declarations as you want. In this case, remember, declaration consists of a property and a value. To select all the A tags that are inside of elements with a class, you would put the class first, so dot footer, and then A, with as many declarations as you want on the inside. To select all the elements with the class footer that are inside divs, kind of the opposite of what we just learned, you would put the div first, and then you would put the dot footer class after. So this selects all elements with the class footer, that are inside, that are descendants of a div tag, any div tag. So the rule does apply. This rule right here, p space image, applies to these images because they are inside, they are descendants of this p tag and this p tag. This image up here, excuse me, call it like this. This image is not inside a p tag, therefore it's not a descendant of our first element we selected in CSS. Inside the p tag, not inside the p tag. So selecting children, to select all a tags that are immediate children of a div tag, remember you use the sideways angled bracket. So div greater than sign a selects all children that are a div. Immediate children, not grandchildren, second element level after a div. To select all h6 tags that are immediate children of div tags with the class footer, you would do div.footer, angled bracket h6. This would only change h6s that are children of div classes or div elements also with the class footer. To select all list item tags that are immediate children of the element with the ID menu bar, you would do the following. Put the hashtag menu bar first, sideways bracket, or the angled bracket rather, and then the element li. Now what does that look like? Over here, my camera blocks it. Probably blocked it on the last one. But either way, this rule here, div angled bracket a, does apply to this element because they are immediate children of the div class. This one, while it is a descendant of the div class, it is a descendant of the div class because it is inside the opening and closing bracket, opening, closing. However, it's not an immediate child. It is an immediate child of the p tag, making it a grandchild of the div tag. So it works here, does not work here. Not an immediate child of the div tag. Next up, finally, is selecting the next sibling. So to select all h2 tags that immediately follow h1 tags, you would do h1 plus h2, and then put a property and a value. To select all p tags that immediately follow other p tags, you would do p plus p. To select all h1 tags that immediately, didn't spell that right out of any of the three, follow elements with the class header. So now both previous examples were with strictly elements. This time we have a class. So you do dot header plus h1. This selects all h1 tags that immediately follow elements with the class. So it looks like this. This rule does apply to this h2 element. h2 immediately follows h1 here. h2 follows h1. This h2 does not follow this h1. It follows a p tag. So therefore, it does not work. Again, this has to immediately follow whatever is right here. This h2, someone joined Discord, good thing I'm muted because I'm making a video. This h2 immediately follows this h1. This h2 not immediately following h1, not a sibling. In the next video, I'll give you some examples. Right now, this concludes this video. If you want to go back and rewatch it, I encourage you to and take notes.